Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cedar podcast. Welcome to episode 17, where I'm going to talk about internet toxicity. Now, the internet, we're just gonna jump straight into it. Okay, so the internet is a horrible place. Well, it's not all that bad, but there are certain people who like to make it a very bad place. Now, the structure of this podcast episode is going to be a very simple one. Do you guys know the 5 W's, the what, where, why, etc., and the 1 H or H or however you want to say it? So I'm gonna go. So that's the layout of this episode. It's going to answer those questions: what is internet toxicity, where is it found, and so on. But without further ado, let's begin. So what is internet toxicity? Well, it is a form of online harassment. It could be cyberbullying. It could be cursing, swearing, threats, basically anything that is just negative behavior towards another individual. Now, where is it found? Where can internet toxicity be found? Well, for the most part, it can be found pretty much everywhere. It can be found in online forums, discussion websites such as Reddit. It can be found on social media, anywhere that it allows people, any place that allows people to communicate with each other in some way, chat, etc. That's where you can find internet toxicity. Now, why does it exist? Well, for the most part, people are nice over the internet, but there are some bad apples here and there. And it's just human nature, I guess. There are people who like to make other people feel bad, so they just resort to these forms of toxic behavior such as cyberbullying, cursing, threats, etc. But let me go into detail now on when. So when does this happen? Well, it could be random. Internet toxicity could be random. Someone might just come and say, "You're ugly," on social media. Or maybe because that person is popular. So let's say someone is very popular and their popularity can be negative for them because, people don't really like it when other people are very popular and not themselves. That's why people make fun of celebrities out in the real world. So it can be random. It can be premeditated, just to make people feel bad. A group of people can just go and plan out something something very bad to make someone else's online presence or online reputation dwindle. In the case of gaming, it's very easy to be toxic because, and by the way, that's something else. It's just very easy to show acts of toxic behavior because everyone's hiding behind their monitors. Everyone is anonymous. Everyone is unknown. No one knows who anyone is. So it's very easy just to. It's not like in real life. Like in real life, would you go up to someone and say you're ugly? Probably not. But on the internet, it's very easy. They have a term for it. It's called keyboard warrior. Everyone's a keyboard warrior when they're on their computers. It's very easy to trigger someone into being toxic. Like, let's say you're playing a video game. Let's go back to gaming. Let's say you're playing Call of Duty and you beat the person. And instead of owning up to their skill, instead of telling you good job or you beat me, you're better than me, or congratulate you in some manner, they'll resort to insulting you. They'll resort to insulting your character, your personality. You suck. You're actually very bad. I could beat you on a good day, and they start coming up with these excuses, and that can lead to some very nasty stuff. Now, who is mostly toxic on the internet? Well, I found out that mostly young people, for the most part. They can be as young as 10-year-olds, but it could also be, older people. It can be old as, 40, 45. Age, for the most part, does not really determine the level of toxicity an individual has. I feel like it's just up to the person themselves. It depends on the person. It doesn't really depend on age. So for the most part, the who is inconclusive. We don't really have a justifiable answer right now. I don't have a justifiable answer. Maybe you do. Now, we answered the 5 W's. So just to recap. Actually, I'll go recap at the end. Let's answer the H, the how. And this is the most important part of the podcast. This is the most important part of this episode right now. How can you deal with it? Now, First of all, it depends on whether or not you have a thick skin. Okay? Do you have a thick skin? Are you a sensitive person? If someone insults you, do you just take it or do you fight back? So people on the internet over the years have slowly developed a thick skin to insults. They have slowly developed this, I guess you can call it, this immunity to toxic behavior. Nothing can really affect them anymore after all the years they've been on the internet, because the internet, it can really make you, immune to certain things. So what can you do? Well, you can ignore the toxic individual, either by blocking them. Let's say you're on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. On social media, you can just block them, or WhatsApp. You can block them on WhatsApp. They won't be able to contact you anymore. So that's one way of just shutting them down, just by blocking them. Or you can just never speak to them again. If you're playing a video game, there's also a block list over there. You can block them. You can report them. In the case if you're on Reddit, for example, or if you're playing a game, you can report them to the moderators of a subreddit you're browsing, or you can report them to the development team of that game, and they'll look into it. And for the most part, they will look into it, especially if it's something very severe, something very serious. If you're on, I don't know, a Discord server, you can again talk to the moderators. So there are many ways to deal with toxic individuals, but I feel like just ignoring them, because don't give them the satisfaction of knowing that they're annoying you, because there's also this other word called troll. So usually toxic people are trolls. And what are trolls? Well, they're people who like to make people feel down. So for the most part, toxicity. So just ignore them, block them out of everything. Don't give them the satisfaction. Don't give them the attention, because they love the attention. They love to provoke you. They love to get under your skin and make you react. So just don't really give them the attention they want. Just ignore them. Now, this is a very short episode, but I'm just going to recap everything I've said. So internet toxicity, what is it? It's online harassment, cyberbullying, cursing, threats, anything that just is negative on the internet. Any negativity that isn't justifiable is internet toxicity. Where is it found? You can find it pretty much everywhere that has a chat, anywhere you can chat, anywhere you can add people on a friends list, games. You can find it pretty much everywhere on the internet. Any form of online presence, you can find internet toxicity. Why does that exist? Well, it's just human nature. You can't really, the questions why and when, you can't really answer them properly. It just happens. Sometimes it's premeditated, sometimes it's random. It's very easy to bring about someone's toxic nature. You don't really know who's toxic until they do something very bad. They say something very negative. And, for the most part, we're all trying to be more positive people. But there are people who will never ever be positive. They will just always resort to being toxic trolls on the internet. And that's just the way it is. You can't really deal with it. The only way, you can deal with it, but you can't really expect them to change. That's who they are. That's their human nature. That's their character, their personality, and so on. Now going to the who, well, again, age, it doesn't really determine. It doesn't really determine the level of toxicity an individual has. It's pretty much all ages can be toxic. Even a 70-year-old can be a toxic person. Age doesn't really play a part. So how can you deal with it? Again, block them, ignore them. Just pretty much the umbrella term is to ignore them. Ignore the individual. Okay, either by blocking them, reporting them, just isolate them, shut them down in some way, and then they won't be able to do anything. Now, this is a very short episode because I really wanted to talk about internet toxicity. I've been reading some articles here and there. I've been talking to some people about it. And a lot of internet toxicity has been going on recently. I don't know why. Towards celebrities, towards people just, minding their own business. I just wanted to get this off my chest. I just wanted to talk about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. This is the end of the episode, by the way, in case you didn't know. I was leading up to it. It is a short episode, I know. But I mean, that's all I have to say for it, really. I don't want to force myself to say anything more. That's all I have for internet toxicity. But anyways, I do hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you guys, are taking care of your loved ones. Keep them close. Don't go out if you don't have to. Again, the usual stuff. And I'll see you next week for another episode of the Cedar Podcast. All right, guys? See ya.